You ever notice how some athletes just refuse to disappear after retirement? Like, instead of fading away, they somehow find new ways to reinvent themselves, and Eugenie Bouchard might be one of the best examples of that right now. So here's the thing. Eugenie, or Jeannie as fans call her, officially retired from tennis not too long ago. After what was honestly a pretty turbulent career, some huge highs and some really tough lows, she's now stepping into an entirely different world, broadcasting. And not in a side gig kind of way either. She's on Tennis Channel, mic in hand, doing live commentary at Indian Wells. Personally, I think that's kind of poetic. From getting grilled by journalists to now asking the questions herself, it's a full circle move. What makes this story so interesting is that Bouchard isn't just a former player cashing in on her name. She's someone who genuinely understands the entertainment side of sports. Remember, she blew up globally after reaching the Wimbledon final at just 20 years old and became this almost celebrity figure in Canada. But that fame was a double-edged sword. A lot of people started focusing more on her Instagram posts than her forehand. And I think that's what makes this next chapter so fascinating. She's taking back control of her narrative. One image that really stood out to me was her interviewing another player courtside at Indian Wells, and joking online with the caption, "Risky of them to give me a mic." That line perfectly captures her self-awareness. She knows how people see her: glamorous, outspoken, maybe even polarizing, and instead of fighting it, she's leaning into it with humor. In my opinion, that's how you win over a modern audience. The best broadcasters aren't just experts, they're personalities. And if you take a step back, this move also says something bigger about how athletes are redefining retirement. It's not the end of the spotlight, it's a transition into a different spotlight. Jeannie could have easily disappeared into private life after her final match in Montreal, but instead, she's building something new. She's part of that growing club of former athletes like Shaq, McEnroe, or even Tom Brady, who found ways to keep storytelling alive long after the game ends. Another detail I find fascinating is the timing. Bouchard just turned 32 and celebrated with a martini-themed birthday bash in New York. And literally right after that, she's flying to California for her first official tournament as a broadcaster. To me, that speaks volumes about her energy level. She's not slowing down, she's pivoting. A lot of people talk about rebirth or reinvention, but this is what it actually looks like. What this really suggests is that Bouchard's evolution isn't just career-based, it's personal. She's walked through being hyped as Canada's Golden Girl, through surgery, media scrutiny, and a long battle to stay relevant in tennis. And now, she looks genuinely comfortable in her own skin. There's something powerful about watching someone move from being the story to telling it. Personally, I think we're going to see a lot more of her, not as the athlete trying to prove herself on court, but as the commentator who knows exactly what pressure feels like. And maybe that's what makes her perspective so valuable. She's lived the highs and the heartbreaks, and now she gets to frame those stories with empathy instead of judgment. So here's my takeaway: Eugenie Bouchard's story isn't really about retirement, it's about transformation. Whether you loved her game or criticized her fame, you've got to admit, she's writing a second chapter that's bold, fun, and completely self-directed. And honestly, I can't wait to see how her voice shapes the next generation of tennis storytelling.